This is in Spanish called No Bueno. In Danish, No Bueno. In English, it's no good. It is a mid-60s NSU Prima. Prima 3 K. K stands for Kickstart. Some of the models had electric start. This one is the base model with the Kickstart and no luxury parts on it. I restored it last year. Runs really well for a two-stroke. It's got a 150cc engine. After the rebuild, or during the rebuild, I was inside the gearbox and I replaced a seal for the Kickstarter. After the rebuild, sometimes the Kickstarter wouldn't work. I could push it down, but it kind of made a horrible noise and didn't engage fully. So it was skipping teeth somehow. Then I rebuilt the gearbox, thought I had it fixed, and then the other day this happened. So the return spring is not working. I think it's broken. Maybe it's come off inside the gearbox. Nevertheless, I need to remove the entire engine assembly and move it to the bench, and then take apart the gearbox once more. It's very annoying, but that's how it is. I've got a bit of a clever idea that I haven't tried before, how to lift the rear of the bike. So let's see if that works. Okay, this seems to be working. It's not that heavy, but it just gives me a bit more, a bit of a less of a headache when the entire bike is up in the air like this, because I need to get the entire engine assembly out, and I can do this by utilizing the lift like this. Yeah, I've done it before, so here starts the dismantling. First is the exhaust pipe. There's not a lot of room down here. Fortunately, the bike hasn't been together for that long, so it's not rusted in any way. It's easy to work on. These scooters are gaining a lot of popularity these days. It's very popular in Denmark, but it's not a Vespa. The Vespas are far more popular. So this particular bike, as it stands right now on Danish roads, it's, I don't know, 3,000 euros probably worth. That's it.
is just connected by 3 bolts, and the tail piece is connected to the header by just 1 Jubilee clamp. So 3 bolts and 1 Jubilee clamp, that's it. The entire thing should come flying off. That's the exhaust. The front of the exhaust needs to come off also. I can remember that from the last time, there's not enough space here to drop the engine. So it's much easier just to remove the header, which is held on by a 12mm and not a 13. That's the header. Yeah, I think I can buzz it off now. Cover your ears. I need to remove the gear linkage. See, this is connected to the frame, but here it's connected to the engine or the gearbox, engine gearbox assembly. This is just a piece of nail because I didn't have the right pin for it. I'll just bend the nail, it's not that important. Okay, I just have to cut it then. Almost. There we go. It's out. And there's a washer. And another washer. So that is the gear linkage disengaged. So there's a wiring harness here. It's not very logical, but yellow is connected to yellow, red is connected to red, and black is connected to white. I don't know why that is. Okay. So now I need to remove the brake assembly. That's the clutch, sorry. It's the clutch. This is the brake assembly, but that needs to be removed as well. Nope, not late. As far as I recall, it's a 9mm. Strange size. You can't see what I'm doing. Just move it over here. There we go. And disengaged. This goes through the engine, this Bowden cable. So it needs to come out here. There we go. So that's the brake and the clutch. There's a grounding wire down here somewhere. I recall that from the last time I almost broke it. Yeah. washer. That's it. The engine is now only held on by the shock absorber and one bolt here in the front, a pivot bolt. I put a few blocks underneath the rear of the engine, the gearbox assembly here. I need to remove this pin down here. It's not a bolt, it's a pin, and it's only held in by friction, so it's a press fit. But if I give it a couple of whacks, I'm sure it's gonna move out. That's it. You saw the engine just drop a tiny bit. Yeah. It's free now. So I'll remove the nut on the pivot bolt to make it ready for that drop. Forgot to remove the carburetor. Remove that one as well. Like this. You can just hang in this hose. The pivot bolt, can you see that from there? I think you can. The pivot bolt is right here. So that's a 21. This is a 24. 22. That's 22. You know what? I think I'm going to remove the spark plug just because it does clear here, but it also sticks out a bit. So I'm just going to remove it. That. Cover your ears. Okay. Okay, what I'm gonna do now is a bit sketchy. The engine will have a tendency to tilt, but I think I've got a pretty okay here. So I'm gonna remove the pivot bolt here. Yeah, and now it's only supported by my arm, so I'm going to drop it. And now it's just hurting my hand real bad. Here we go. So it's on the ground in that end. And on the ground in that end. So it's on the ground now. That was the easy part. Getting it back in is harder. Let's get this to the bench. This is the engine gearbox assembly. We need to get in here, but in order to get in there, we need to separate the engine part from. You can kind of see this as a clutch housing, like in a car. This is the bell housing. So in here there's a clutch plate, and we need to get in this way. We need to remove the clutch and a nut in order to remove the gearbox part. So first we need to take apart and separate it right here by the bell housing. I know for a fact that the last time I was in here, the shaft, the driving shaft, was pretty messed up. The thread for the nut was pretty messed up. Maybe we're gonna need a new brass nut. It's not going to be easy because it's from the mid-60s. You can get parts for this, but not easily, and not all parts. For example, the stator assembly, I had a problem with the windings. It turned out it wasn't the windings after all, but I thought it was the windings, and I was in search for a stator for it. That simply doesn't exist to this model. It's special for the model 3K, the Prima 3K. It's different on the electric start models because it has an integrated starter in the stator assembly. This one does not. I looked all over the internet for a stator that would fit this. I thought, well, it's probably a Bosch stator, so I can find something that fits. But no, the dimensions are special. I couldn't find anything suitable for this engine. Yeah, I think that was it. So some soft tapping now, and I'm going to separate the two. Okay, that was easy. You saw that. So this is the clutch plate. and it's driving this special gear here. Set that aside, we don't need that anymore. This is a push rod for the clutch, and I believe there is a small, should be a small ball in there. No, there's not. Well, there is, but it's just doesn't fit through the nut here. This was the brass nut I was talking about. I think we may need to replace that, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's pretty messed up in here. It's a 19. Ouch! That was expected. Maybe I can. It's not easy. Let's just try with this. Okay, off it comes. Can you see that? The threads in here just wasted. Okay, so now that that's free, we should be able to get the small ball bearing from in here. There it is. And now we can start removing the bell housing from the gearbox side. Inside the gearbox is an input shaft and an output shaft. So two shafts connected with gears. And if you're not careful, you'll separate. If you remove the bell housing just like this, you will separate the two shafts, and it's just going to be a bad day trying to put all that together. Ask me how I know. Which is why I'm doing it in this order. I'm taking off the engine part first, removing so the shaft now can slide free. So it's only the casing here we're removing, and both the input shaft and the output shaft will stay seated inside the gearbox once I remove it. It does require some light tapping on the shaft to stay put. kind of regret using both liquid gasket maker and the old gasket the last time I was in here, because I'm pretty sure now the gasket maker is going to act like a glue and stick to the surfaces, meaning I'm pretty much guaranteed to ruin the original gasket in here once I opened it up. Okay, that's all the bolts. It's separating right here. I'm just going to try now with a blade, just kind of going around the circumference to see if I can perhaps salvage this gasket. Well, it's pretty free. If I can save the gasket, that would be nice. I don't know if you can get that gasket. Worst case is that I'm just gonna have to make one, but it would be nice. I forgot to drain the gearbox oil. There's not much in it. It's I think it's like 1 deciliter of oil. That's about it. Not much more than that. So it's right in the bottom here. So it's not coming out here flowing heavily. But there's a bit. No, 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 no. Can you see that? The gasket is about to split here. So right here, it's on the gearbox side, but right here, it's on the bell housing side. So what I would like is just to try to persuade it without cutting it to leave the bell housing side. Nope, there it's split. I need to make a new one. It's broken. Yeah, it's broken now. You're seeing me stick a screwdriver in between the flanges here and prying. It's an aluminum casing, so damaging the flanges is really easy. So careful, careful, careful here. All I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just make sure that the distance here is the same all around, so it doesn't kind of tilt when it leaves the gearbox.
binding somewhere. I can't see where it is. I'm just gonna try to lift the engine or the transmission here in the bell housing and knock on the shaft. It's doing absolutely nothing. Oh wait, maybe it is. There's definitely more room now. It's doing something. Yeah, definitely. I think I need to be more brutal. I think it's just binding in right here where it's this bearing here in the top. So I need to thread this pretty mangled washer on. Not on again. That's it. Yeah, that's annoying. Now I need to remove this nut again. I need something to jam in here to lock the shaft. Well, if I can get it set of pliers in here to kind of grab it softly, I can. I think this will work. This is alright, I'll just polish this afterwards. Okay. This is just worse and worse and worse. This is a nightmare. But there's the gearbox, and all the oil is on my table.
So here's the Kickstarter spring. It's this one in here. It is still turning and is still connected to the shaft, but where it should be connected down here, it isn't anymore. Let's remove this and this lock ring. There we go. This should come off, this should come off. There's a roller missing. Now this should come off. Okay, I was lazy, I just took out the entire Kickstarter, took out the Kickstarter arm, so now remove the entire shaft here. Yeah, that should just clearly come off. Strange. Okay. Now why did it leave its... There's just no reason to it. That's very odd. Everything looks fine here. I don't see any reason why this spring would just dramatically move out of there. No, it feels nice. I need to think about that before just putting it back together. Why did it happen, and will it happen again? So the spring's fine. But this is not, this feels gritty. I don't know what it is in the bottom of the gearbox here in the drain hole, but it's definitely metallic and it's definitely gritty. Something died in here. There's definitely something fishy going on here. These teeth up here needs to be sharp and pointy and engage completely with this gear. And you can see there's kind of a gap down right here. In the valleys here, you can see it's not totally engaging. It's like it's not been fully engaging, so it's been brushing off these teeth. So that's not good. That doesn't explain the Kickstarter spring though. Okay, I think I learned something here. This is the Kickstarter shaft. You can see there's kind of a raised section here. Yeah, you can actually see what's wrong. There's a raised section here. This section here. This is when the Kickstarter returns, it pushes this gear out so it doesn't engage with this shaft here. And you can see this is also what's happening in here. So this would be as far out as it can be pushed. And now this shaft in here could turn, but you can see there's absolutely no clearance here. You have some feeler gauges. It's like, this is a 0.2 millimeter. I probably even can't. I can just fit the 0.2 millimeter down here. So there simply isn't enough room here. Keep in mind there's a spring pushing in. So this gear is always under tension from this spring here. So this is being pushed in by the casing. And this can turn freely. So I think what has happened is that the Kickstarter shaft here what's your best angle? Can you see it here? I think I can see it here. It's really, really, really worn. So that's of course a problem. I can probably weld that, but this is my idea of what has brushed off the tip of these teeth here. And if they're not sharp, then obviously it's not going to engage properly each time. It doesn't catch. So that was what I experienced the first time when I started up the bike after I got it. Is that I could feel this didn't completely engage. So sometimes it did almost engage, and then it kind of slipped, and my foot slipped. So I think this one is junk. And I think this one is junk. I can probably salvage that with a bit of weld. It's only when you kick it, so it's not so much force it'll see. I'm sure the shavings down here, they're also from this. So I can't do anything more today. So there will be a sequel to this video while hopefully I can get these parts. Otherwise I need to salvage a complete gearbox from another bike. But let's see. Oh yeah, this is definitely special because it's for the Kickstarter model. Okay, I'll see what I can do. But see you again.